សមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាផ្លេចមានសាមគ្គីក្នុងនានាសង្គ្រោះបម្រើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរព្រមគ្រប់គ្នាទាមទារសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រុសស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរ
Good evening and welcome to CNRP America live TV show, live Facebook show. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. My name is Linda. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am live from Los Angeles, California. Today is August 31st, 2021. Again, thank you for joining our show. Our topic today is Cambodia court trial in Absentia. The court lately is a Cambodian court lately is very popular and also in the news lately. So my guest and I will talk about that. But before we start, I would like to say thank you for supporting our petitions at change.org. Ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Thank you for your support. Because of your support, we have over 100,000 signatures. I believe 100,000 and over 100,000. So please continue to support us and continue to help sign the petition, continue to share the petition with friends and family. Again, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia, a worldwide campaign to find justice for victims of Cambodia backstate killing. Please, again, support us at change.org. Thank you. And I have a short video clip by Her Excellency Musahur that explaining what's going on with the petitions and how you can help sign the petitions and why it's important. Please watch the short video clip and I will be right back and we'll start the show later on. Thank you.
Between 1975 and 1979, the green rice fields of Cambodia became the killing fields of Cambodia. Over 2 million lives were lost, including the lives of my own parents and many of my relatives. The Khmer Rouge wanted a society that is equal according to them. We still live and we are haunted with the legacy of the Khmer Rouge, which is the culture of impunity that continues to exist in Cambodia today. It is for this reason that we have started a campaign, worldwide campaign, a campaign to end impunity in Cambodia by seeking justice for cases, for the executions, for the killings that are organized, that are backed by the state. Among those cases of state-backed killings are the killings of Chivichir, a very famous trade union leader, Bisep Pilaka, a ballet dancer, of Kemley, an independent analyst, of Chutvuti, a well-known environmentalist, of Venerable Sun Bunthun, who was advocating for the monks to have the right to vote, including workers who demanded fair wages. The campaign will also advocate for governments that are members of the United Nations to put pressure on the government of Cambodia to conduct independent investigations by using universal tools such as the UN Protocol for Independent Investigation. The campaign will also advocate for governments that believe and want to protect universal human rights to impose sanctions on the leaders of the government of Cambodia who are implicated in these state-backed extrajudicial killings. We ask you to be with us, to support us, to be part of a campaign to end the culture of impunity in Cambodia and to find justice for those who have been waiting for justice for their loved ones killed by the state. There cannot be real peace unless there is justice. There cannot be justice unless there is independent investigation. And then take those cases to an independent justice system. Join us by signing on this petition. Thank you.
យើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
Thank you and welcome back. Please help to support our petitions at change.org, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. I just checked change.org. So far, we have 105,585 signatures. Please still support our petitions. We are looking for at least 500,000 signatures. But so far, your support is really important to us. Ending impunity for justice in Cambodia is a campaign seeking support from Cambodian community inside and outside of the country, and also from non-Cambodian as well. So please still support our petitions at change.org, still share, still let your friend and family know who have not signed the petitions to sign our petitions. Thank you so much. And again, this is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live show. My name is Linda. Welcome. I have two wonderful guests with me today. I would like to bring them out. They spend a lot of time with our show. They are here every other week, and I thank them for being here, for voicing their concern, and also regarding the country Cambodia. So let me introduce my first guest. Her name is Brittany Baker. She is the former ESL teacher at Peace Corps and a CNRP supporter in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Brittany. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me back.
You were here 2 weeks ago. So anything changed? Anything's going on in Ohio?
Mostly the same. We're just a little bit concerned about the rising cases of coronavirus here, as I'm sure we're experiencing in California also. And with the schools back full time now, we're just a little bit concerned about that and trying to stay safe here.
Yes, the kids are going back to school. I'm not sure in Ohio, but our school system here, it's required that the kids wear masks to school, still social distance. The children that in elementary school, most of them, I mean, almost 90% of them is not vaccinated because they're not allowed to get vaccination yet. So I believe in California, if you are 12 and older, you can go and get vaccinated. And I'm sure in Ohio as well. So, and yes, even though vaccinations, we need to be careful. We need to be mindful of where we at, still social distance, and also wear masks. And if you have not gone out and vaccinate, please go and get vaccinated. It's free and everybody is eligible to get that.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
My next guest, his name is Sammady. He is the youth president of CNRPA in Los Angeles. Welcome, Sammady, and Jamip Sur. Cannot hear you, Sammady.
I was muted. How are you today?
I'm good. How you been?
I'm fine, thank you.
Have school started for you, or what's going on? What's going on with Sammady in Los
Yes,
Angeles?
this is the second week, and for business administration division in my university, we haven't go back to school yet. So um, only people that major in nursing or engineering that require lab, they need to go back like once per week, I think. Yeah.
So is there a plan to go back live on campus to be physically on campus?
Um, from what I heard, next semester, not this semester. Next semester, probably 50% is going back. All depend on the professor. So if they want to stay home, they can just opt out for in-person teaching.
Oh, so it's not planned for fall. I thought it's fall's coming up, and I thought everyone or every campus is planning to go back. But in this case, I believe it's probably because of the rising in COVID cases in Los Angeles. That's why they push back to your school probably winter, right?
Yes. Yes. Well.
Okay. Thank you, Sammady. And what do you want to say to people that are unvaccinated?
Please get vaccinated. I still can't believe more than 50% of the population haven't been vaccinated yet, and study shows that most of the people that attracted COVID is unvaccinated people. So there haven't been a case that people with Pfizer or Moderna that has been vaccinated attracted COVID again yet. So hopefully they can get vaccinated, and also protect those young ones who can get vaccinated due to their age. So if you have COVID and you spread it to those young kids, it's really sad to see, because this is like your selfish gain, like your opinion, but at the same time you attract this disease and spread it to the innocent ones. So hopefully everyone get vaccinated.
Thank you, Sammady. And yes, please, I'm here every week to let everybody know, please go get vaccinated. In America. It's free, and they do not check your residential or not. As long as you want to get vaccinated, you can get vaccinated. And again, it's free. Please get yourself to a clinic, to a hospital, to a lab. They will give it everywhere. I think some people, even if you are not able to drive to get, they also have a people that come to your house and actually give you the shot. So they make it so easy, and it is a we still in a pandemic, and that's what it means. It means that please help and get this virus down, or virus go away, because it's into the end of 2019, and now we are almost the end of 2021, and it doesn't seem to get improved. And please go out and get vaccinated. Thank you. Let me put Brittany back on. Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Okay, I'm not sure you read news this morning. So the topic of today is Phnom Penh Municipal Court announced that the verdicts of activists, so 15 of the CNRP activists and also social activists, also under environmental activists, their verdict's gonna come out on September 28th. So they're done with the trial today, and the verdict is gonna have them another month to come out with the verdict. So let me show their face. So I know we probably seen it many times, because it's so unfortunate and so unfair that they are on trial. Let me see. Here we go. So as you can see, there are 7 social activists. His name is Hunwanat, Miss Chundarawi, Vulnerable Kids Sarai, Mr. Mien Prom Moni, and along with other activists. Their verdicts. So this morning, the court hearing on this morning, which is August 31st, they are done. So I guess the lawyer or the jury going to come out with the verdict on September 28th. So let me see. I just want to remind the audience that the Phnom Penh regime have arrested political activists, basically more than 80 people, more than 80 activists, and including environmental activists, and they are in jail due to their exercise of their basic right, which is the right to their expressions and the right to protest. So this is the reason why they are currently in jail waiting for the verdict, which is coming out on September 28th. So that's the hot event this morning, and that's not just the only hot event. Every single day you would hear from the court what verdicts is coming on and who is going to be on trial. So I have a short clip. Also, it's saying why these activists is on trial, and also most of them they on trial because they went and protest at Ronchon court. So I have a video from, I believe, from the Phnom Penh Post. So let me share that, and we'll discuss that after the video.
Rongchon's lawyers plan to file two appeals this week against a ruling to detain the Cambodian Confederation of Unions president. Bail is also being requested. More than 140 civil society organizations and communities also released a joint statement asking that charges be dropped and Chon released. Chon was arrested last Friday on charges of incitement to cause serious disorder to social security and spreading fake news after he posted on Facebook about land violations in Cambodia coming from across the Vietnam border. His lawyer Sam Sukong said the facts of the judge who ruled to detain him are not in line with Articles 203, 204 and 205 of the Criminal Code. My client Rongchon is fit for the Phnom Penh Municipal Court to release him on bail temporarily. The charges have nothing to do with incitement because Chon went to visit the border. He made a statement highlighting his findings when he went to inspect the border. On all of these points, the detention is unjust and incorrect. Therefore, we ask the appeal court to review the ruling. The court on Saturday ruled to place Chon in pre-trial detention on charges of incitement to commit a felony or cause social unrest under Article 494 and 495 of the Criminal Code. Chon was arrested after he went to meet with residents in Bông Mom province's Tropang Plong commune in Punier Krai district. A resident claimed Cambodia had lost land to Vietnam and the Vietnamese authorities had pushed residents 200 meters into Cambodian land. The Council of Ministers Joint Committee for Border Affairs and Ministry of Justice Secretary of State Kum Santapip denied Chon's statement. They said it misled the public and spread fake news. A statement released on Monday by 141 civil society organizations, associations, and local trade unions said the charges are a clear violation of his rights to freedom of expression guaranteed by Cambodia's constitution. The statement said this is not the first time Chon was arrested for his activism. In October 2005, he spent 3 months in prison on charges of defamation and incitement after being arrested for comments he had made about a Vietnam-Cambodia border agreement. In January 2014, he was arrested again with 10 other human rights activists for publicly calling for the release of almost 2 dozen demonstrators arrested during widespread protests that followed the 2013 national election. The statement read, after more than a decade of harassment by authorities, this latest arrest of a respected union leader is a direct threat to every Cambodian who exercises their constitutional right to freely express their belief. Ministry of Justice spokesman Chen Malin said on Monday the joint statement was made by civil society organizations that had not carried out such activities. They have the rights and freedoms to express their views but cannot put pressure on the court. He said the case of Rongchon, the jurisdiction and the law enforcement and court proceedings in effect rest on facts and questions of law. Helping Chon means showing sound evidence to prove that he didn't commit the offense as charged. The ministry on Monday also issued a press release calling on people to stop the protest before authorities take legal action against them.
So from that, that was in 2020, 15 opposition officials and social activists accused of instigating and inciting, causing serious social unrest and related to the protests in front of courts and plans for peaceful protests at New Freedom Park in August 2020 to demand the release of union leader and border guard Rong Chun. So you just saw the video of who Rong Chun is, and he was being arrested. He is, I believe, the verdict already came out that he 2 years in jail. The case involved. So from that, let me show you the picture. From that, these are the people that the court case their court case is done this morning. The trial is done this morning. The verdict's going to come out on September 28th, so the next 1 more month. And let me ask Brittany, how do you feel, Brittany, from this hot news this morning? Or I'm not sure. It seems like every day there's news of somebody is the verdict coming out.
Right. And we've talked about that several times in the in our show here before about young people, environmental activists, union leaders, people who are fighting for land rights, who are expressing their opinions and using their freedom of expression, which is guaranteed in the Cambodian Constitution, who are being charged and silenced and imprisoned for expressing the feelings of many people in Cambodia. So it's very disheartening to hear the news. And I think we'll talk about it in a little bit, but a lot of the activists want to share the message to their fellow country people to continue to fight, no matter the decision of the verdict or what happened today with the union leader. The activists are still encouraging for the people of Cambodia to stand up to the corrupt officials.
Yes, and many of them voiced, I think, say their last word at the end of the court this morning, and they don't think they're going to get a free and fair trial because it's so corrupted. Sammady, how do you feel about the news this morning? There's 15 people that's going to be the verdicts coming out in less than a month.
I just feel like those 15 people just don't want to be following social norms. It's like the unwritten rule in Cambodia where everyone knows, but no one's speaking of it. It's like you can't talk about land grabbing. You can't talk about environmental in Cambodia. So those 15 people is just show their patriotism and shows that they do not want to follow the social norm. They want to be unique. And those verdicts, from what I heard like a couple months ago, they could possibly end up in jail for 10 years for talking about environmental, basically, and the issues in Cambodia and how our country has been affected by this climate change, plastic, cutting down all the trees and so on. So it's really unfortunate to see that the government punished them for speaking out the truth about environmental.
Thank you, Sammady, and thank you, Brittany, for that. Our topic today is Cambodia court trial Cambodia court trial in Absentia. Out of those 15, there's five defendants from an opposition party. Their name is Ho Wan, Kong Sapir, U Chandrit, Saeng Meng Wunrong, and also another politician in Australia. His name is Hong Lim. They are 5 people that are staying outside the country. I know Ho Wan. I know, not that I know personally, I know that they want to go back inside. Ho Wan, Kong Sapir, U Chandrit, they want to be out. They want to go back to Cambodia to stand trial. Unfortunately, they are not allowed to be in. And unfortunately, there are many of the leader, which is Sam Rang Si, Her Excellency Mu Suk Ho, that they want to go back in and stay on trial. To be representing to be on trial and defend their position, but they are not allowed to go in. And that's our topic is trial in absentia. Brittany, what does it mean when you say, trial in absentia? Can the court go on without having the person there?
The court should not go on there. The trial should be halted until the person is able to have a fair trial in which they can present their side and their evidence, and they have a lawyer that they have chosen, and they can defend their position. All of the activists are requesting that, and it should be within their right to be there to defend themselves in front of a judge or other people that will be making the decision on their verdict.
Thank you, Brittany. Let me have Sammady. What is, when you hear my topic on trial in absentia, what does it mean to you? To a youth, Brittany's already said it, and now I want to know from a youth like Sammady, is it so hard for the court to understand?
It's not difficult. It's just that they are being told to do so. So the person that the 5 person that you mentioned has very powerful friend from international community. So Mr. Hun Sen, he know that he cannot touch those people because the international community will put more pressures on him on top of COVID. So he want to avoid that as much as possible. And also, when a person is not being presented, it is more easier for the judge to give you a verdict, because you can only hear one side of the story and the other side is not being presented. So they look for an easy way out, and it is not by the law at all. It just shows the regime way of ruling.
Let me read the information that I found. It says both Cambodian and international law recognize the rights of an accused person and the court obligations to provide opportunities for him or her to defend him or herself in accordance with the court procedure. So under Cambodian constitutions, Article 38 of Cambodia Constitution stipulates that every individual has the right to defend through judicial recourse. And Article 14-3D, the international and civil political right, said that all persons are equal before courts, and tribunals have the right to try in person and to defend themselves in person and through legal assistance of his own choosing. It's in the Constitution. So we have a very popular. She's very popular. She is the Cambodian American lawyer. She actually in Cambodia. Her name is Thierry Singh. What is your take on Minh Thierry Singh, because she is in there, and what happened to her court case? Have you heard what's going on to her court case, Sammady?
Well, I've seen her and talked to her a few times in our shows. And since she's a lawyer, she have a very powerful allies. A lot of her friend is national, like American lawyers. And Hun Sen keep pushing it back because he knows that she know what she's doing. She know all the laws, and the judge cannot answer her question when they were being asked. For example, we've seen her wear all red to the hearing because she believe she going to see a movie theater, and she considered the judge as like a theater to go watch the movie at. So I believe they couldn't do anything to her, and they keep on pushing it back because they know they can't do anything to Minh Thierry Singh.
Let's also bring another case up. What happened to CNRP leader Kum Sukha? What's going on with his case as well? I haven't heard what's going on, and also it's been quiet.
On Mr. Kum Sukha,
what is the excuse on that?
They just afraid. because they know that he won't be joining his CPP political party. So they don't know what to do. They want to put him on trial. If they put him on trial again, they're going to receive more pressure from the international community. Isn't that the reason why they released him in the first place and put him under house arrest? So they're just afraid of Mr. Kumsaka because he is committed not to associate with CPP, and they can't do anything to him. So they have to let the trial open and let Mr. Kumsaka stay in his house.
Thank you, Sammady. Let me ask Brittany now. I'm sure you heard of CNRP President Mr. Kumsaka, and also you probably heard on many occasions American lawyer Terry saying they are inside the country, and what is going on that they keep pushing? What is their excuse? Do you recall what is their specifically excuse for not having the trial, not having the trial on?
Mm-hmm. It's many excuses have been used, and I think it's very similar to the situation that we've seen in the past 6 months in Burma and Myanmar with the democratic leader, the opposition party leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. There's a mass following, and when her party and her supporters start to take more control, then the government are using many different excuses to try to suppress that dissent. And it's the same thing that we're seeing in Cambodia. I think the CPP leaders are finding more and more young people and environmental activists and political activists and union leaders, and trying to suppress that opposition, that dissent, when they see that coming. So whether they cite COVID as an excuse, or whether they cite international pressure, international influence, things like that, anything that will allow them to maintain control over the people.
Thank you, Brittany. And the hardest excuse lately is been COVID. That's the excuse for every single thing. You're not allowed to protest because you violate the COVID social distance law or COVID lockdown law. And also this court case, while, COVID cannot go on. So COVID cannot, because of COVID, Mr. Kumsaka trial being pushed back. And I know Ms. Terry Singh trial also pushed back, but they have no, they're not afraid of COVID when it's come to the activists, the 10 activists that I just showed. Let me put that picture again. And so that way you know who we're talking about. These are environmental activists and social activists that are in jail. I believe is probably most of them could have been over a year already. And their trial finally ended this morning. And the verdict's going to come out September 28, and most of them give not most of them, I believe all of them give a statement, and the statement is in a form of, they don't believe they're going to get a fair trial. From what you read, Brittany, do you remember what one of them said or anything like that you can share with the audience in case our audience have not read the news this morning?
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned at the beginning of our show tonight, the union leader and land rights activist Rong Chung, he was sentenced today for 2 years of imprisonment, and he wanted to spread the message with his supporters to keep fighting, even though I'm here right now for 2 years after an unfair trial. I will be out after 2 years, and I will continue my work with you all. So to keep fighting, and don't let the intimidation stop you or discourage you or scare you, because that's what they want. So keep fighting, keep pushing, keep putting the pressure on.
Thank you, Brittany. How about you, Sammady? Do you have any quote this morning from anyone that I know they are. I'm amazed that they are allowed to speak at the end of the trial. Do you even recall one of the quote or any one of the wording that one of the actors say regarding the such an unfair trial?
The quote,
Their speech this morning that they speech. I know some, I think a couple of them speech.
is in Khmer, right?
Yes.
The quote, I don't remember any of it.
Okay, most of them are just saying that, you know, they don't believe that they get a fair trial. Their family member also asked the court to release them because of COVID situation in the prison. So that's most of their statement. That's the news that this morning. So our topic is Cambodia court. So we're talking about the court today. So Cambodia court trial in Absentia. What I want to talk about is there are 7 opposition activists that are connection to August 26 incitement case. There are 27 of them, and I believe they are in Thailand. And one of the defendant is also a monk. He's in Canada. I have their name. Let me read their name. They are currently in. Basically, there's 7 of them, and the trial go on. The trial went on without them being there, and that is an unfortunate. So their name. Let me see. I have their name somewhere. I know that one of them is Ron Janti. He is one of the hosts in our show, in our Khmer show that is broadcasting in Khmer. I believe he's host on a Sunday and also on a Monday. So he's really well spoken. He's basically saying like it is, telling the audience what the regime should have been doing, what the regime basically. He will say what they do, what is unfair, what is so that way they can bring awareness to the citizen that, you know, that this is not correct. He is currently living in Thailand, and also there's another one. His name is Renrod. Also, the monk that he lived in Canada, his name is Nu Sutir, and they are currently in Thailand, and the court went on without them. So that is that's again Cambodian court trial in Absentia. Basically, the court is responsible, and it's responsible to provide justice to citizens. In this case, it's violating their right, violating their freedom, and it's violating the constitutions that the trial go on without having the defendant there. Can you say something about? I know you probably watched the live show that Ron Janti's on Sunday and Monday, and he's broadcasting from Thailand, and he, you know, it's a very well spoken and it's very bringing attention. So nothing overdone. It just bringing out like us talking about what's wrong with the regime and what need to be done, and that is under the Cambodian constitutions that should be allowed. How do you feel about that, Brittany?
As you said, it's peaceful activism, peaceful protesting, sharing information, encouraging civic engagement, which if the government was a legitimate government, they would encourage that sort of thinking and that sort of civic engagement. But however, that's not the case, right? So there isn't any sort of legitimate reason to charge these activists or to force them back to work with the Thai government, to force them to come back to Cambodia so they can be charged and imprisoned with something. And it's interesting that the Cambodian government is quoting social distancing and COVID as a reason for moving back some court dates when we know that the prisons are overcrowded and there isn't adequate equipment or social distancing to limit the spread of COVID-19 in the prisons. So it's interesting to see when they use COVID to their advantage and when they use it to suppress human rights activists.
Thank you, Brittany. I actually found their name. Mr. Niang Sukun, Mr. Renrod, Mr. Ron Chanti, Mr. Sim Sopir, and Mr. Mao Ball. However, the activists know that they were charged of incitement, but they don't know what is it relating to. And their case, their verdict is going to come out on September 9. So in 9 days, they, without being at the court case, so they're going to have a verdict on what kind of incitement. They don't even know that. So and that's unfortunate. So like I said before, the Phnom Penh Authority have arrested more than 80 political and social activists. So basically anyone that come out and voice their opinion about anything. This case, the 7 defendant, I believe they was not happy that they talking about COVID. I believe that's the reason why, not the reason why, that's the bogus charge why they are their trial ended without them being there, and September 9 is their trial. That the verdict's going to come out. Sammady, do you have anything regarding the youth? These are people that consider youth. There's 7 of them. They I believe 5 of them in Thailand, 1 of them in Canada, 1 of them in France. You as a youth, how do you feel that they exercise their rights to talk about the regime and they now unfortunately they wasn't in jail, and another was in jail. They was not in court, and now their trial is end and the verdicts come out in 9 days.
I feel kind of glad that they are not in the country and they are outside of Cambodia, because even if they sentence those innocent 5 people to 10, 20 years in jail, they're not physically in jail. Only the title of their name is in jail, but they can still exercise their freedom of speech outside the country and criticize the government. And it just shows that Hun Sen government cannot arrest an actual physical person. So they decide to show what they're going to do to those kind of people, to make other people scared of coming out, speaking against the government and expressing their opinion, especially young people. I feel like the regime is afraid of the youth, because I feel like the youth like myself in Cambodia who truly care about their country, they don't they don't want the money. 2, all they care about is the well-being of their country. So they're speaking the truth instead of trying to persuade the government to buy them houses, cars, and stuff like that. So they're just being afraid of the youth and younger generations who able to speak out, while most youth in Cambodia doesn't even care about the environmental or any political event that happened in Cambodia.
Thank you, Sammady. Yes, it's very unfortunate that they that we have youth that willing to speak out, that willing to point out what's going on for the improvement of for the development, but for somehow it just tickled their tummy that they are so afraid, and those people like around their 30, and also the youth that I just showed the picture is probably in their 20 and their teen as well, and it's unfortunate that the regime consistently keep suppressing and keep closing their mouths what is right and what is in other country. when you bring attention to the environment, especially environments, and everybody care about climate change, what's going on with the environment. Everybody is protecting the environment, trying to take care of the earth. They very glad that the youth is involved, because not many youth, I'm not sure, Sammady, you are so busy, Brittany as well, so busy about school, about work, and to take time to understand the environment, take time to what you can do for the environment, that it's just, it take a lot of time, and this you take time to understand, take time to speak about that, and as a result, they are in jail. So, let me read a little portion. It's like national and international organization. Basically, in a lot of NGO in Cambodia as well, include major democracy, have repeatedly condemned these cases as partial persecution. So it's political motivated, and they ask and demand that Hun Sen regime drop all charges and grant release to all political prisoners. So it's very unfortunate, and so they to be free again, so they can be free, and they also that is the situation was that they're asking, it's again the constitution, it's again the international law, and especially they want them to be released, so that way there's no further sanction from the European and United States. And I am sure that if this keep going, I know EBA is handled by European Union, and we lost 20% already. And consistently keep doing this, it does not look good. And United States, what we have GSP. So I believe that's going to be something that the United States going to look at, and the European Union is probably going to carefully looking at that as well. We talking about so much on EBA and GSP. Somebody, what is that benefit the Cambodian people?
Well, the EBA is like an elite scholarship, if you can say, in simple word, or elite funds that is exclusively being offered to only a few countries in the world from the European Union. So EBA is everything but arm. So as long as it's not weapon, like clothes, agricultural goods that being exported to the European Union, is being tax free 100%. So if the government made um, uh, like $900 million off of import export, they keep all of those and provide it to their citizen. So it's basically you make 100% profit into another country from doing business. But once you lose that 20%, it is a lot of money. To Cambodia, hundreds of $1 million being lost, while our neighbor country, Vietnam, is being offered EBA. And so right now, all the factories such as Nike, H&M, Adidas, Gap, they used to be in Cambodia, and now they all moving to our neighbor country, because they said, well, if Cambodia doesn't want it, we want it. We promise to be respect human right. We promise not to stain your brand like Adidas or Nike, because those company is $1 trillion company. They care about their image. So when you heard like women being not treated right at the factory in Cambodia and being spread into shareholders from Nike and Adidas, those is not good image for their company. So they're gonna move their company out of Cambodia, and why not doing business with someone who can do the exact same job for the same price and respect human right. So I believe it really helped Cambodian people, especially if during this time of COVID, where people is dying every day because they cannot have proper food to eat, and proper clothes, proper medicine. If I remember correctly, people who being identified with COVID, contracted COVID, they're just being thrown into a Cambodian Olympic stadium with 100,000 people who attracted COVID too. So and their meal, they have to wait the whole day until they're able to eat. So when you have COVID, you need to have a strong immune system. So if you're hungry, disease will take over your body. So this is the thing that can be taken to consideration when losing EBA in Cambodia, especially during this pandemic.
Thank you, Sammady. Let me have this question to Brittany so that way she can explain clearly who benefit from EBA. Brittany, is it the regime or the people, the Cambodian people that benefited that?
My understanding is it would be mostly benefiting the people that are the workers and the people that are most vulnerable in the country. So it's in the best interest of the majority to be in this deal so they can have a better livelihood with a higher salary and better working conditions. But unfortunately, that priority isn't there for the leaders of Cambodia. They don't see that as a priority.
But it is a priority for the citizen, because I don't know I forgot the exact number. I think it's 5.6 billion per year that the EBA that we doing the exporting to European Union, and that is will directly 20% and continue to be more, and that is directly impact the citizen pocket, because those are affecting job, those are factory job that we're talking about. And when it's sanctions, when Cambodian lose EBA, Sammady, can you make it clear who fault is that? Who responsible that Cambodian and the factory worker lose job, doesn't have a job? Who responsible that the European Union cut the EBA?
It is the regime. All the European Union asking is to not dissolve the CNRP, have free and fair elections, release all the people that are being wrongfully arrested, or like Mr. Horan, who is an opposition party leaders who also being involved. All he do is speak out his opinion, and they want to arrest all of the political parties leaders who being involved with CNRP. So all they want is free and fair elections, respect human right. That's all they want, and they will give back 100% EBA back to Cambodia, and everyone is benefiting. And I think EBA is also benefiting everyone in the regime, because most of the money doesn't really go to the citizen; it is going to their pockets. We see that during COVID, we see the government selling rice and other supplies to their citizen. So I'm pretty sure on the agricultural perspective, they also receive some type of fund from EBA too. So.
Of course they do, because those are bargaining how much the factory work or the factory owner is willing to pay, and in order to do that, they negotiate with the regime not to raise the income of the citizen, and that is directly going to the regime pocket. And also, let me make it clear, it's a citizen that's going to suffer when the EBA continue to cut. And who responsible for that? The regime responsible for that. The regime, it's not listening to the demand of the European Union or the demand of the United States. Human rights, that is one of the key, and democracy, free and fair elections, that's three of the main things that we can talk about, that the regime consistently step on democracy, what they call backtracking on democracy, disrespect human rights by throwing all these environmental activists, union leader, and also without having people, it's under the constitutional right that people be present on trial, and they consistently have trial have a verdict that without people being present. And I think Brittany, I think you might want to add on EBA or GSP.
One thing that I would like to highlight is the more the Cambodian government suppresses and doesn't prioritize the human rights and the rights of the workers, the more that I predict we'll see young, very talented, very smart, intellectual, hardworking young leaders leave the country, whether it be to work in another country and or to live safely in another country. So we're going to see like continued brain drain from Cambodia because that sort of thinking or that sort of activism isn't encouraged, and it's actually suppressed. So that's one thing that I'm concerned about. The more the government suppresses those things, the more young people are leaving and not helping develop the country.
But they are developing every day, Brittany. They are, building road, cut down tree, cut down forest, and all the lake are filled with sand. They're developing with all these building. How can you not say that's not development?
I would ask you, development for who?
Exactly. So it does not benefit. Like I believe I said already in my last show, I don't know anybody who live in those high-rise buildings. I'm not sure Sammady or Brittany have any friend that can afford those high-rise buildings.
Those were like special customers of the regime. Those high-rise building cost like millions of dollars per room. So
yeah, $1 million where the people who actually used to have their small house on that land protesting, and they don't have any place to stay. The forest is deforestation is continue. I don't think probably the next 10 years there's no more lake probably in Cambodia. There's no more pond. Instead of going to enjoy the nice pond and a nice lake, you probably couldn't enjoy looking at gray building, sun building, and that's development, Brittany.
Yeah, and Chinese casinos, right?
I think a lot of casino that people smoke, and such as filthy environment that people who have asthma cannot even enjoy it too.
Right.
Not only deforestation, they also deforest mountain.
Deforest mountain. The mountain. I have not heard the term yet. I know Sammady from Prey Veng, his family from Prey Veng. So there's a mountain there that's
it's gone now.
disappearing. I believe it's continue to disappear. So you know what? Thank you so much, Brittany, and thank you, Sammady, for being here today. I appreciate it. And like our topic said, Cambodia court trial in Absentia, and that is everyone in Cambodia, a Cambodian citizen, is guaranteed that you need to be present in court. If you are able to present yourself, then you need to. And from CNRP leadership, Mr. Kum Sakha, Mr. Samrang Si, Her Excellency Mo Suk-ho, Ho Wan, Kong Supir, U Janrit, all these people wanting to go back in and to represent themselves, want to be in front of the court, but they're not allowed to. And if you are in the country, if you are pretty have a foreign connections, or you are American citizen, your court date probably never going to come until we have no more COVID, and then we probably have something out that preventing the court from go on. But other people, they have no problem in the court go on and gonna come out with a verdict. So these 7 activists that currently living in Thailand, and also their court case is September, the verdict is on September 9, and also the 15 CNRP activists and social activists, the court date come out to be September 28. So September is a pretty busy month for the court. I don't think COVID is affecting their work at all. And like we said, it's guaranteed under the constitutions, and they need to release those political. We demand that they being released because those are political motivated, and in order to avoid further sanction by the European Union and by the United States. Brittany, do you have anything before we end the show, and then we'll go to Sammady, so that way our topic's pretty regarding Cambodia court.
Yes, I just want to echo what the imprisoned activists have said, to keep on fighting and to not let the intimidation of the corrupt officials stop you from fighting for human rights issues and for social justice and for land rights and environmental activism, to keep fighting despite the recent verdict and soon to be verdict that will be coming.
Thank you, Brittany. How about you, Sammady? Do you have anything regarding our topic? Do you want to say something to the youth in Cambodia or the youth in America?
Just be persistent. So the only way to beat or go up against the regime is to be persistent, stubborn, like not willing to join hand with them when they offered you. Just keep speaking the truth. Don't follow the social norm in Cambodia where it is taboo to say anything that is attacking the government. Just keep doing it and inspire many more younger generation like myself. So that's all I have to say.
When you say attacking government, how do you know we attacking them? How we just pointing out what is the obvious that going not. How the thing is, it's the freedom of speech. You don't know in Cambodia, you don't know when you're gonna get pulled into jail, because how do you know that when what you're talking about is criticizing? Sometimes it's not criticizing. Sometimes just bring up the topic, different way of looking at topic.
Like well, in under Hun Sen regime, anything that go up against them, the government is considered attacking the government. For example, whose fault is it that the plastic in Cambodia is all over the river? And in Cambodia, 80% of our people were eating fish, agricultural country, and they got sick from those plastic that the fish consume. All they ask is, whose fault is it? And the government said, whose fault is it? We are the government. So you must be saying it's our fault that we are not capable of getting rid of plastic. So we're gonna arrest you and might put you in jail for 10 years. So yeah.
Thank you, Sammady, for sharing your input, and thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Sammady, for being here today. I appreciate it. And like I said, it's unfortunate that the situation in Cambodia, as I said, September is going to be a busy month for trial, not trial, it's the 3 trial already, and it's going to be verdicts on September, and the regime need to release the prisoner because the international community is watching. So now we know that 2 verdicts going to come out in September. The international community is watching, and especially the European and also the United States, and that's going to affect the citizen pocket. And when we talking about citizen, we want our citizen to stand up, because EBA and GPS, it will now COVID-19 people barely go to work because they don't want to get infected, and many factory closed, and EBA and GPS will affect the citizen pocket. So please stand up, please speak what is correct, and demand that you don't want to go on with our job, because that's what happened when the EBA cut. It's going to be more expensive to do business. Thank you, Sammady, and thank you, Brittany, for today.
Welcome.
Thank you, our audience, for joining our show today. I appreciate you here today. This is CNRP America, Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Our topic today is Cambodian court trial in Absentia. What the title Absentia, what it means is that the defendant is being in the trial went on without the defendant, and many of them, the verdict going to come. One verdict is going to come out on September, I believe what I said earlier, September 9, and the other one of the 15 activists and also including activists and opposition leader. They are going to come out on September 28. So again, busy month for the court. Again, the court of the trial of Mr. Kum Sukha cannot move on because of COVID-19, and the trial of many other high CNRP leader cannot go on because of COVID-19. But at the same time, there's many trial, many verdict that come on. So stay tuned. We'll bring you some update event, what's going on, and also like I said, international community is watching. That's regarding the EBA and GPS, and we also have that information as if I have them. So and I will bring to you when I have the information. So in the meantime, thank you for watching our show. Thank you for being here. Good night, and I see you next week. Thank you.